I'm currently moored on a riverbank, and I've got to run an errand to a nearby town, and I'm going to use the opportunity to demonstrate Bikemap. So open the app, there's where I am on the riverbank. The place I'm looking for is about 1.5 miles away in this town, and it's a good mixture of different terrains. The co-op, there we go. So I'm going to press and hold, and it will create the route for me. Now what it's done is that little lane there is one way. You can actually, it's a short walk, so I'm not going to cycle round that long way. That's the one thing I don't like about it. It doesn't let you sort of cheat and go down one-way streets, even assuming you're going to dismount and walk along short ones. The rest of the route that it's done is the way I would do it. So it's a good mixture of different types of terrain. But the great thing about the Bikemap app, and the first thing to mention, is it does pick the kind of routes that you'd be inclined to pick yourself. Now you can edit it and construct a route manually. I'm not going to demonstrate that because it just take forever. That'd be too boring. So I'm going to press start, and it zooms in immediately to show me my current position. So let's get that onto the phone holder, and I'm going to run that alongside the video that you can see. And I've no idea, I've not ridden this route at all. The end bits, I've seen bits of it, but I've never been on this mooring before. So the bike's got nice fattish tyres, 2-inch tyres, so it can cope with this quite well, which is nice. I've got a suspension seat post. There's the boat moored next to me. No sign of life from him so far anyway. I'm being a little bit careful because it's a down slope down to the river. Don't want to end up down there. His next stop is in the river, which we definitely don't want. Bit bumpy, few tree roots. So I'm going nice and slow. No point abusing the suspension and giving the bike a harder time than it's getting anyway. If it was a full suspension bike, I'd be a bit less, cautious, but it's not. It's got no suspension, just the suspension seat post that I put on. So it's taking the bumps, and they're only 20-inch wheels on this thing. So it's not got, it's not got a great suspension capability. Ow, that was a bloody thorny one. I'll have to watch for that on the way back. A low-hanging thorn bush. Anyway, this bit, I'm doing it very slowly. I'm doing a sort of jogging speed because it is a very narrow path. And, oops, I've got to be so careful. I do not want to fall to my left, because if I fall to the left, it's 6 feet down a short slope and into the river. And that is not, I'm saying that is not happening. It could happen, but I'm certainly going to try and avoid it happening. Right, so the path's widened out a little bit. This is nice. Some street routes ahead, watch out. Yep, there we go. Get out of the saddle for those. There's a lot of these tree routes. This is not as nice a ride as I thought it would be. These tree routes, yeah, they're no fun. They're no fun for the bike. I don't like the bike getting too much of a hammering with it not having suspension. There's a little squirrel running away from me. I've got to also be careful on these tree routes because I also don't just want to fall over as well. Right, here's the end of the towpath. Thankfully, that's that bit done. Now, I'm going to wait for this car. Now, it's saying turn left. That's quite steep, that. That's quite steep. So that, it's rideable, but I'm going to change down. I should have seen that coming. By the way, I meant right. I said left, I meant right. So let's quickly change gear right down, because this is about a 1 in 3. I might as well ride it. This bike's got a push along assist, so I could push it, but what the hell. It's a rear hub motor, so all my weight's over the motor, so there's no risk of it slipping. It's recently rained, but this bit's dry, so there's no chance of it slipping, so what the hell, ride it. Still easier than pushing it. Right, and now there's a sharp right and along here. I've been past here in the boat. Here we go. Now I noticed the screen display excuse me, was slightly jerky and slow to respond as I went round that sharp bend. That's not ideal. But the big plus with this app is the map. I've been using Cyclers for about 9 months, I don't know, 9 months, a year. And the map lets it down really. Two things, the map and the scale. The scale constantly makes you feel like you're closer to the turn ahead than you really are. It's weird, it doesn't really work for me. This scale on this app works better for me personally. It feels like I know how far ahead the next turn is in terms of, you know, judging it from the map. It works for me. Don't know what I'm going to do if a car comes at me, actually, because this is a legal car route, I think. I think basically turn tail and ride back down is the answer. But what is it? About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. Moved the boat up there earlier on, and so early afternoon, nice and quiet. Okay, so a sharp left coming up, and look, see the way the scale is at the speeds that you do on a push bike. That scale works. I don't like the way it goes round corners. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I'm going to wait for this car. Okay. Very kindly waved to me, which they don't always do. Notice as well the battery's down to 2 bars. And it'll need a charge later. Right. Yep. Worth noting, convenience store on the right there. That's the closest store to where the boat's moored. But so now we're on a stretch of straight road, 564 feet, so 200 and a bit yards before we turn left. And yeah, I'm looking ahead. I can see the turn. You can see the turn on the camera, hopefully. It's this one, Hollowwood Chemists. I just like the way that scale works. I look at that map view, I look at the real thing, and I think, yeah, you know, that's about where, the turn's about where I expect to see it up ahead. And it's just a handy thing when you're making a split-second decision about which route to take, and it's busy or it's dark and it's rainy, and you just don't want to mess about and retrace your steps or any of that. This road's a bit naughty. With that surface, that's dreadful. But I'm not on the Brompton, so this thing can take it. Right, it wants me to go that way. It wants me to go right. I'm not going to go right, okay? Because it thinks this is a one-way street, and it's not. And I don't know why. Don't know why it does. Certainly there's no signs. And there's cars here facing the wrong way, so no. the supposed wrong way. This is a two-way street. So that's one error that Bikemap's made.